Da, 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 da. See if we can get the chat up. There we go. Just gonna go say. All right. I'm gonna pull the iPad up so we can see something. Turning that on. And like this. Okay. So we have something entirely new that we're going to be working on today. And it's this image of some chicks standing in, I think this is going to be like a garden scene with, I have also prepared some by making like a palette with the colors over here. So I don't always do that, and sometimes I end up changing my mind before long, but we'll see what ends up happening with this one. Oops. I don't want to use the super rough lines. Kind of want them to still be thin, even though I'm like on the sketch stage. So we do have that sort of smooth feeling going on. Oops, her collarbones ended up way too low there. Can't have that, right? So at the sketching stage is where I try to still be very, very loose, not decide too much what's going to happen in a piece, just go with the flow. Although I had some like I had some inspirational references that I was looking at a moment ago, which I have since, I don't have them up right now, because then if I don't have enough screens to do that. I have my chat app on my phone, and I have the iPad, and I have my computer on which this is streaming too. So if I were to close down any of that, then we wouldn't have the show going. So let's see how she's gonna stand here for a second. I think one leg out towards the front like this. And then high heels or not, I don't know yet. We'll see. Depends on what kind of scene we're, I don't know, sorry. It's gonna be high heels because this foot wanted to be like that, out that way, and then I guess that means this foot will have to go this way. All right, there we are with that. And let's zoom in a bit. Make sure the back of her head is where it needs to be at. Very sad when people don't have the back of their head. That's actually a medical condition, which you can't live very long with, but you can be more that way. So we're not going to get all medical on this stream, thank goodness. I have enough of that in my life outside of art. Not in a bad way though, in a very self-chosen way, but yeah. Okay, so That line is actually going to go in a different direction. I just decided. So we'll have some kind of flowy dress thing. And maybe put something, actually have shoes so I don't get confused and think she's just standing on the tippy toes. Looking strangely comfortable doing that. I cannot stand around and she's this high myself and look this chill like she does. I'm not used to high heels at all, which is kind of, I mean, partially because they're so bad for my feet. My feet are kind of like piggy feet. I can't, I can't use whichever shoes because my feet hurt so badly when I do. But also because I'm quite tall, so I don't really need to use high heels to begin with to get taller. It's like I'm tall enough. It's enough. I don't have to add to it. Okay. Hi, Malik. How's it going? You just caught me starting in whole new piece here. Is this okay? And we'll have some candles here, which, coming to think of it, is really dangerous. But there were gonna be lights here when I planned this, but like, if this was in real life and I was wearing a long dress like she's gonna be, I would not stand this close to candles on the floor. That's just asking for the dress to be catching fire somehow, which, unless you're in the Hunger Games, is not nice. Have you guys seen the Hunger Games movies, by the way? I have watched those so many times. As dark as they are, they're kind of like comfort movies for me, which is weird, but yeah. Oh no, I was about to put curtains here. That would be even worse, right? We can't have. Actually, we will have curtains. We'll have the danger lurking here somehow and let everyone worry. But here, let's have some lanterns up here. And then maybe something, yeah, to frame this with, like that. Yeah, this works, I think. And here she can be standing on some kind of fancy carpet. I'm not good at patterns for fancy carpets, I say. Though I haven't actually tried before, so that's being slightly unfair to myself there. I'm sure I can be good at them. Okay. Now let's go for the values. Because now we have like a basic idea of what's gonna go on. What's going to be going on in this painting. And we're gonna go with the dark blue. Here's the base color. There we go. And then Malik, what have we said about talking unkindly to ourselves? Have we not said you're not gonna do that? I thought we were. You said I'm horrible at drawing compared to you, which isn't fair. Like I've been drawing almost longer than you have been alive, so it's not fair to you. Don't say that. It's good. You should be apologizing to yourself, not to me. Which isn't to say that I'm not super hard on myself as well. I am, and that I think that's why I am so insistent about other people not being too hard on themselves, because there's enough of that in the world. And I know how like hard it can be for a person to just push yourself all the time, which since I do that, it's not something I recommend. And I wish I would be better at not doing it myself actually, but yeah. Everyone is a work in progress. Or we should be, I think. In the sense that like we shouldn't stop developing or trying to improve upon our like not necessarily pushing ourselves, like which I mean that's what I just said we shouldn't be doing, but not like not thinking that we can't get better at something just because we're gotten to a certain point in life. That's not how things work. You can always be kinder to yourself, always like be kinder to others, maybe although not in a way that you eliminate yourself entirely, but you get my point, I think. So yeah, we can try to be better without being hard on ourselves about it. What's the point with that whole motivational rant? Which I guess, yeah. So I think here I have accidentally at once established that we have a light source from above and one from below and very few from the sides. Why did I do that? That's going to make things difficult for me. I think I purposely did that because I wanted to make things difficult for myself. Because again, that is how you grow. And I do want to grow as an artist. Although I've been watching a couple of really inspirational streamers lately who have been all about like, I mean, not being so hard on yourself that you burn yourself out with art, which I think there's a lot to that. I think you should, I mean, that's true with anything, that even if you want to get better and you really have plans for the future and where you want to go, allow yourself to go there on like your own terms and in your own time. So that you don't push yourself so hard that it becomes unsustainable. Because that's no fun for anyone if you just burn out. Okay, so now we have her standing there with sort of light source established. We're gonna establish a color of the dress, which I think is gonna be some kind of light blue mixed with purple, mixed with pink. Where is the pink gonna go? Over here in the middle, maybe. Yes. Perfect. Oh, and red shoes, or pink, red. Like, just because I don't wear high heels for myself doesn't mean I don't find them pretty. So other people are free to wear them just fine. I just won't do it myself because can't. What's this for? What did I want to use the orange for? What did I want to use the orange for? Let's think on that as I reach for my tea. I think maybe it was for her hair. This is kind of cold already, but never mind, we'll drink it anyway because I need tea to live. Also, it's summer anyway, so who needs warm beverages, right? Wrong. I do, because Sweden is cold as hell. It's not that bad. Yesterday we had like 16 degrees Celsius, which is 60 Fahrenheit. And I'm like, it's the middle of July. Please, weather, what are you doing? I need summer vibes. Especially since like yeah, I just do. No, not the yellow ones. Red hair. She's a redhead, everyone. We have established that much. And now for the part that I haven't thought through, what to do with the background values. We need something darker behind her, just to add some depth there. And Malik says this is amazing, thank you. I hope it will turn out to be pleasing to look at once I get further with it, but I legit just started when I started the stream, or like 5 minutes before, because I wanted to have some kind of sketch, and then I was like, okay, if I can figure out a sketch, then I can start. If I were to just sit there and not be able to think of anything, then I wouldn't want to do it in front of people, because then you kind of get some kind of, not performance anxiety, I wouldn't say, but still, it's not fun to be stuck on something in front of people. That is not the brush I was looking for. These are not the drawings you're looking for. In before Star Wars references. No, this brush isn't. This brush hates me. No, it doesn't. It has no feelings. It's just a brush. Or is it? Is it alive? One might think it is, considering it seems to have a will of its own over here. I wonder how long that's going to take before we actually have real that's what it's called. What's it called? Like artificial intelligence that actually does stuff. I mean, we have some AI writers which write like blog articles and stuff based on materials they find online. They're not bad. Like, you can read the stuff and think maybe a human wrote this, but that's also a very technical thing. So far, I mean, in the sense that it's predictable in a way. They haven't quite gotten there when it comes to visual art yet, but I'm sure they will, which is kind of daunting to think about, honestly. Because where will humanity be then when the robots are like really on that level, basically? they will get there. I think we have to deal with it. Like, I can't say when that's gonna happen, but yeah. It's very dark where she is, isn't it? It has some color to the curtains coming out of the darkness. I kind of get like cursed castle vibes from this. Kind of like 1001 Nights meets Beauty and the Beast meets the whole, like the witch in that movie who curses the beast. Kind of like this could be the Irish/1001 Nights version of her. Something like that. My brain works in very many lateral associations like that. Especially while I'm drawing, it's like you tap into a strange place sometimes. Wait, what? It's not centered. I'll deal with that later, I think, when we crop it. We're not gonna deal with it now, because I can't be bothered to merge everything just yet. I need to decide a color for the carpet, though. Not green. That was ugly. Eee. This is better. Okay, no, but now we're on the wrong layer, though. Let's be down here. But are we outside or are we inside is what I want to know. Maybe a bit of both. Because maybe I kind of want to have grass on the ground. For whatever reason. As if I wasn't super tired of drawing grass after my stream yesterday, where I finished that piece with the woman lying in the ground. Not in the ground. She wasn't lying in the ground. Oh my god. That sounds like I buried someone. I did not, thankfully. No, but she was lying on the ground. And there was a lot of grass in that painting. And I got kind of tired of drawing all the strands. And yeah. And here I am, wanting to do it all over again, because apparently I want to torture myself. Molly says, I love Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, I do too. I think it's a very, especially the movie from like the 90s, the, what's it called? I mean, the hand-drawn one. I'm not sure if it was 100% hand-drawn, but that was the first movie actually that I saw in theaters when I was like 4 years old, and the wolves terrified me. And still I wanted to see it again and again after when we got it on VHS. So, but I have seen the live action version as well, and contrary to popular belief, I did not believe it was bad. I actually liked it. I think this is the perfect mix of like dramatic but also quirky, which appeals to me. Dramatic and quirky and some kind of combination, that's my jam. Um, yep, okay. We like that. We're gonna have a super dark red something up here, I think. Or dark cherry. Yes. Yes. 110% yes. This is actually how a lot of things happen in my paintings. I don't know what I want to do, and then I do it on a whim, and I'm like, yeah, that was exactly what I was planning to do all along. It wasn't, because I wasn't planning, but when it happens, I like to tell myself that I was. so so as to make myself believe that I'm better at this than I am. And it kind of works. I mean, self-suggestion or the act of fooling yourself into things, that is actually not a bad method. It's like fake it till you make it. Art is so much of the fake it until you make it part. Like, um, okay. I think we don't. Do we still need that? I don't know. We'll keep it for a second. But now we'll clean the line art layer up a little bit before we merge it down. Actually, I have a setting I want to see if I have. No. Oh, that was a feature I didn't know existed. We're not gonna do that right now, but it was cool. Okay, we don't have the stuff I was trying to do, but we had another feature that I didn't know about. So I learned something poking around in the controls of Procreate, which is a drawing app that I'm using here for the iPad. Don't need to see through the dress quite that much now, do we? No, we don't. Dum 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 dum. Okay. Hi, Leroy. Oh, thank you. I just got up, but so I gotta keep your average up, so I'm gonna be here until you get off live. Thank you. Yeah, I do. That is the only. Well, I do need to stream 2 times, this one and one more, and I had a total of 1 hours left to go until I reached that affiliate mark. So it's quite close. Not far off at all. My average was like 5 before I started this, so but it would be good to have some margins. So I'm sure I'll get to that coveted affiliate point. That would be so much fun to have accomplished that. And also be able to do things with it, of course, but once I get there, I'm going to look into creating some custom emojis for myself. Maybe that's a good idea for a first affiliate stream. What do you think? To create the emojis live. I could probably do that. Anyway, Leroy, how are you today? just got up, but do you have something planned? Which layer am I even on anymore? I don't know. Layers mean nothing. And the layer says, I'm doing good. I work night shift tonight to close, so I try to sleep in. That's a good idea. I always try to do that when I work night shifts as well. Well, with varying success, I must say, because my brain kind of goes into this kind of waiting mode when I know I'm going to go to work later, and then it's super hard for me to sleep. So usually I don't. I mostly sleep after the night shifts instead. But what kind of work do you do? I usually work day shift, but I agreed I would work one night shift a week. Well, yeah, you said you were a manager at Arby's. I forgot that. What is Arby's, by the way? Did I ask that already? I think I did, and I don't remember what you said. It's a fast food restaurant. Okay, so are they open like 24/7, or I guess not if you're closing it. It probably closes at some point then. But how long's the shift? Ten hours a day. Wow, you know what? Creds to you for being able to put up with 10 hours in a fast food restaurant. I could not. That seems like it might be totally draining. I get that maybe you adapt to it if you're there all the time, but we close at 11, but I won't be out till around 12. Oh, yeah. I bet there's a lot of like cleaning up to do after the messy, potentially drunk guests. Let's smudge this together now, actually. I'm done with the layer. The layers are getting on my nerves. Malik says I'm gonna get in the shower real quick so I can get ready for the stream. I'm gonna host you. Thank you. I'll try to catch your stream later when I'm done with this. See what you're gonna be playing today. I did look into the Infinity. What I forgot the Call of Duty name of that Call of Duty game. Call of Duty, whatever. But yeah, it turns out I need to play it on a PC, and I'm using a Mac right now, so I'm going to have to delay getting to it. But I kind of did not want to spoil myself when you played it, and so I was looking for a bit there, because it looked like it was a very story heavy game, and I like those, so I wanna try it myself later. I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish this drawing on this stream today, because lately it has taken me an average of 4 hours each to finish paintings about this size. But I'm also leveling up my detail work, so maybe it'll take longer. Trying to be more ambitious so I learn more. but in a self-friendly way, so that I don't get entirely burned out with art just because I happen to be on vacation and can do a lot of it. Oops. Detail these candles a little bit so that we have them, so that I can remind myself that I have candles down here. Yes, well, what are we up to? Trying to decide which part to focus on here. Concentration, my one big weakness. It's not my only weakness by far. There are others, but we're not going to talk about them right now. Right now, it's my inability to stick to one piece of a painting at a time. On the other hand, I think I share that with a lot of artists, judging by art streams that I have been watching lately. And there's nothing wrong with it, don't get me wrong, it's just that I think that I have sort of inherited this idea that you should focus on one piece of the picture at one time from art tutorials that I used to read when I was younger. But then again, I'm sure that the artists who made those tutorials were very, I mean, they were trying to make something that made sense and was easy to follow, and that's why they were like that. They probably weren't that focused all the time. Or they were, and they were just that kind of people. I'm not, it's fine. It just means that if I'm ever going to make any art tutorials or anything for others, I will have to force myself to be very consistent in a way that I naturally am not. Not when it comes to art anyway. I actually have plans for a couple of tutorials. A year ago, I asked my Instagram followers what they would like me to make tutorials on, and I got a few answers. I started to work on those tutorials as well, and then I lost interest in that project, so I kind of abandoned it to the side for a while. But we'll see if I make my way back to it or not. Now we're getting rid of the palette. Let's hide it. We don't want it anymore. We want to play with the colors. No. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's what I was going for. See? It pops. Amazing. We love it. And by we, I mean myself and my spirit. Let's zoom in on her face for a while, shall we? Get some detail in there. Because I feel like once you have a face, it looks, I mean, there's so much more soul in something at that point. So I usually tend to get to the face quite quickly. I kept it off for a long time just because I wanted to get to the mood of this piece, but normally I will work on the face much sooner than this. Ah. Let's see. There comes a time when you're moving from the sketch layer before you're actually into rendering something a bit more. That stuff looks quite weird. And you have to get past that so you can get back to what you were trying to do. But sometimes when I'm in that phase, which I am right now, it can be kind of hard to keep your hope up about the drawing. Because you'll be like, what? I like the sketch so much better though. What's going on? And you have to be like, yes, you like the sketch better because the sketch kind of still reminded you of the potential that you thought the drawing had. And then you have to fight through the valley of suck, where it looks nothing for a while, like what you were trying to get at. And then on the other side of that, somewhere, is the resemblance of that thing that you were trying to get to in the first place. But you have to push through it to get there. Because the sketch is just a promise of what might come. And sometimes that's the thing that actually comes. Other times, something completely different comes out that looks nothing like what you imagined, and usually that's better. That's what wanted to come out anyway. I don't know if anyone else who watches this right now is also an artist or creative in some way, but if you are, you should read the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, same woman who wrote Eat, Pray, Love. It's kind of quirky in a sense and very like, it's got a bit of, I mean, I wouldn't say magical thinking in it, even though it's the title of the book is Big Magic, but it has a fun way to look at creativity, which I really enjoy. It's one of my, like, of the books that I've discovered as an adult, it's one of my favorites. Just because it's so different. Like, I have read so many, particularly writing books, but also books about art, which are very technical, and they're all like, well, you need to have the discipline, blah, 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 blah. But that book is more like, it's gonna come to you, and has more of an intuitive approach, which really, it relates to how it is not just about what's going to come to you, it's also like, or that is going to come to you, it's about what is going to come to you and why. Which, yeah, as an art, I relate to that on like an artist level. I actually bought a physical copy of that book even, which, since I have had periods in my life where I read a lot, it's not practical to buy every book as in a paper form. I had 1 year in 2015 where I challenged myself to read 100 books, and I actually did that. More tea for the artist. And there's someone, a neighbor with a car, who's trying to call someone's attention, but it's not mine. Anyway, in 2015, I read 100 books for a Goodreads challenge, and obviously, I did not want to buy that many physical books because not only would they need to take up a lot of space, but also it's more expensive. So I bought ebooks, but then I some of those ebooks I liked so much that later I went on to buy physical copies because I didn't want to lose them, and the ebooks are kind of dependent on the platform that you buy them from sometimes. I bought most of them through Amazon, and who knows what they might do with it. So yeah, the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I recommend that to any creative person, really. It's nice. Larry says, I'm still here, just going to go to the kitchen to make a cup of coffee. Yes, do. Caffeine is one of the essential vitamins, I say. It is actually not, I'm aware of that, but it's good. And there are actually some studies showing that drinking more than, actually, I think it's a lot of cups of coffee. I think it's like 6 cups of coffee per day, but that can actually reduce your risk of certain forms of dementia and diabetes. So, of course, those studies it's really hard to study on the long term what the consequences of what people eat, because there are so many other factors in that. And you can't really control a person what they do for 10 years at a time or whatever. You have to like ask them what they have been eating. So, and you can't really trust people to tell the truth always. So yeah. But anyway, coffee is good for you. Have as much as you like. That's what I do. I have a lot of coffee and tea. Kind of need it to live, so. Also definitely needed to focus on anything ever. And yeah. And also on my night shifts, like not to stay awake, which you might think, more in the sense of like staying alert and concentrated, and then when I unwind from the night shifts to be able to fall asleep afterwards. So wait, what did I do here? I forgot about the lamps. You weren't allowed to forget the lamps, Phil. You weren't, and you did it anyway. Goodness. If an artist can't even steer herself, who can she even control, right? Yum, 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 yum. Still not on board with this. Actually, very much not on board with it right now. I need to save it. Sorry. Okay, that's better. Um, Uh, okay, I've stayed looking at the face for too long. I need to zoom out of it from it so I can look at something else for a second. And then I can figure out why I don't like it. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's work on the candles for a sec. Candles and the curtains, actually. Let's go for the curtains. I don't even know where these curtains attach. And since I'm not building something, I'm just drawing it. I don't have to know. So fantastic. I love it. When I was younger, it really used to bother me when artists did that, when they just didn't care about some things, like the practical consequences of their actions in their drawings. And I get it now. I'm sorry, you guys, that I judged you. I was a kid. That's my excuse. Kids can be so judgmental. Like, really. Like, really, really. I wonder what we're. Okay, we're gonna. I know what it is. Giving her some plastic surgery over here. Surgery. If I can't say the word surgery, then something is really bad. I have to be able to say that. Oh my goodness. Yes, I think I got to it. The things that were bothering me with her face. I can't quite articulate what it was, but I squashed it, I think. No, I'm good. It's okay now. Except, as soon as I said that, I no longer agreed with myself. Well, you talk too much to yourself. What did I just tell someone about bringing themselves down? And here I am doing it. Well, that is what I said. No one's perfect, least of all me. Now let's leave the face alone for a second and render the skin instead. I don't know what the timestamp is on this. How long have I been going? I need to check. Because I'm curious. I have the statistics. It's 1 hour and 1 minute. Okay. That's actually, considering that I didn't plan anything, not bad progress for this piece thus far. I think I'm getting to something. Like, I am having this period in my art where I'm trying to make more effort into, put more effort into things. Just so I'll have a portfolio of more finished looking things and just be more, I mean, just to learn, I guess, where my art limits are at the moment. Because otherwise, how can I push them if I don't know where they are? But also, yeah, I think in the process of doing that, I'm kind of developing some strategies pretty rapidly again to get back into what I used to know, basically, because it's not like riding a bike, which, by the way, if you heard that analogy of like, oh, it's like drawing a bike, you'll be back at it in no time, that only works if you are good enough at something to begin with, that you were at that like automatic level. And regardless, even if that is the case, it still takes time to get to that. You can't just expect it to happen overnight or over the course of one drawing session, whatever. And you kind of need, in addition to that, like, so I haven't been, prior to these past few weeks when I've been on vacation from work, finally, I haven't been consistent in my digital painting. I have done one painting here and there, basically. And that's not really, it's like going to the gym. You lose some of your skill, not your skill, but your like creative strength and your techniques and whatnot. And you need to wake that back up. And I'm kind of doing that right now through streaming more, through drawing more with an audience, through just drawing more in general, which streaming really helps me with that. Like, you guys have no idea, because you can't compare it to what I was doing before. You weren't there to see it. After all, I was. But again, to begin with, for a long time, there wasn't a lot to see because I wasn't doing anything. And for another part, I have done a lot of like abandoning things, just working on something for one session and then not getting back to it again. But here we are, building some new habits, being more consistent, flexing those creative muscles again. And yeah, just generally getting better, but still trying to have fun at it while I'm doing it, which is, I must say, the perfect combination. So I am so glad I had this idea of getting back into streaming, because if I hadn't thought of that, I wouldn't be here doing this, and I wouldn't be here having this kind of development right now. So that was a good idea, Will. I like that you did that. Thank you. I can say to myself, because I think we should thank ourselves more often for the things that we do that we like. It's only fair. Like, if you want to go down the route of treating yourself, like, there is a saying, treat others the way you would want to be treated to yourself, but that also goes the other way around, that you should treat yourself no worse than you would treat others. Think about that for a second. Don't treat yourself worse than you would treat anyone else. Do you do that? Because I know I certainly am harder on myself than I would ever be on anyone else. Like 110%, 150 even. That's a thing in my life. And it's not fair, so I'm trying to do less of that, trying to be kinder to myself. It's a journey. I'm sure I'm going to continue that journey as long as I live, basically. But again, what else would I be doing? I have to do something. I think we need to play with layer modes a bit. With my favorite layer type, the addition layer. Yay! That's how you make the fun glowy lights. The glowy stuff is coming. Hooray! I really should have a sound effect for that. I'll have to think about one. Something to help myself celebrate the shininess, because I love the shininess. Anyone who has dug, you don't even have to dig deep at all into my art galleries, you'll be able to tell that I like the shiny stuff a lot. If there's a potential to make something shiny that I am drawing, I will take it. I'm going to do it. Hmm. Now her hair is very shiny. Well, that's good. That's what we wanted. I'm gonna flip it around a bit just so I can do some things with this. Okay, I see you. Now I'm blending some of the lines here into the fabric, getting the sketchy stuff out so we can render more. Hmm. Wonder though. Okay. Now I'm just not even thinking of what I'm doing and just doing things down here with the candles. And sometimes this whole not knowing exactly what you're doing thing when you're drawing is good because it gets you places. Other times it may be a sign that you should be stopping because you might mess things up when you're not thinking about it. There's a fine balance between thinking not too little and thinking too much when it comes to art. And I think I'm treading that right now. Treading kind of close to it. Let's flip it upside down for a sec. Because that will kind of help my brain to reset. Okay, put the drawing upside down. Take a sip of tea, which is even colder now, but make that 2 sips. Because why not? And then flip it back and see what we have. Yeah, I'm going to need more detail here, later there, and there. Something over here. I'm just hinting at it, leaving myself breadcrumbs. Like in Hansel and Gretel, the old fairy tale. Speaking of fairy tales, right? Where they were leaving themselves breadcrumbs so they would know where to go when they wanted to get back from the witch's house. But in my case, I'm leaving myself trails so that I have somewhere to go when I come back to this drawing later. Because I think for now, I have been at this for just over an hour, that I am going to take a break, come back to it potentially tomorrow and then see where I want to go with it. But I got much farther than I thought I would in just an hour. That is really weird. Have I gotten that much faster? Or is it gonna get a detail level that I haven't been able to produce before? I don't know. Leroy says that's amazing for real. Thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised myself at the moment how far I got in just this 1 hour. But yeah, it may be that I'm setting some kind of new standard for myself in terms of which detail level I'm gonna get to. It might be that I've just gotten faster and I'm going to stick to the same detail level as I have in previous pieces. We shall see. But I'm not gonna finish it right now. We will pause it right there and wrap this particular instance of Twitch streaming up. I have so many different controls on this. I'm just looking at the Twitch app for my phone now to see what I actually can even do here. There are different things I could have done that I won't be doing. I could have restricted you guys to only using emotes, for instance. That would have been no fun. I like when you talk back in this sense, but yeah. Okay, so Leroy, have a good day at work. Malik, have a nice stream. And thank you to anyone else who has been watching and not saying much in the chat, but I appreciate you anyway, you guys, for lurking. And yeah, I think we're done for today. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Great stream, Leroy says. Thank you. That is, I think we'll wrap up on that note. I'm just gonna close this down. Turn that off. It's not like this. Like this. Okay, thank you guys. Hope you're affiliated after this. I think I need to make one more tiny stream, but I think this is the time achievement. So yeah. Bye.